I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
So did you know every master was once a disaster? I was inspired to talk about this today because of what showed up in my email and social media. But before we jump onto that, if you're here watching live, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And I also appreciate you if you're watching on the replay. Just go hashtag replay. Let us know where you're chiming in from. That would be fantastic. If you've got a nugget that you got out of what we're talking about today, or if you have a question that you want answered, fire it my way. I'm going to do a shameless plug for what I do. Here it is. So if you have a question for a business coach, guess what? I am one. I'm one of several hundred from around the globe. If I don't have the answer to your question, I'm happy to make an introduction to somebody so you could at least have a starting point. The other starting point is the Business Growth Score, which is bringing you this episode of the Business Renovator. It's a complimentary self-assessment available from coachphil.ca. In the top right-hand corner of the website, you'll be able to click on the link, do the assessment, and no credit card is required. So did you know every master was once a disaster? T. Harv Eker is the first person I heard say that. And what he's referring to is everybody starts off as a rookie, probably making more mistakes than they ever thought possible. But as we do things over and over and learn things, we end up developing some skills and some competencies. In the word fail as an acronym, it stands for first attempt in learning. So if you were to look at failing from a different point of view, you'd get a different outcome. You'd respond differently. An interesting billionaire, self-made billionaire, actually. Well, she had a group of people that helped her along the way. So she probably didn't do it all by herself, but a lot of it she did by herself. And that's Sarah Blakely. And when she was growing up, her dad, a lawyer, would ask her and her brother at the dinner table, what did you fail at today? And if they didn't have something that they could respond to as an attempt to do something and failing, he'd be disappointed. So they were brought up with a different point of view of what fail is. And so that served her well because she created a company called Spanx and turned it into $1 billion entity supporting women's issues and bodies. And she's connected with some pretty famous people like Warren Buffett and Sir Richard Branson. She hangs out with them on a regular basis. Matter of fact, Warren Buffett's belly is in a book that she was inspired to put together as a result of her being pregnant and having this bump in the front. So she had artists paint different images, and she created this coffee table book with her bellies in it, and Warren Buffett wanted to be in it. So guess what? He is. So if you're ever playing trivia and they say, whose belly is in Sarah Blakely's coffee table book that is not really pregnant, you'll know the answer. It's Warren Buffett. And I think that's pretty funny. But the point I'm getting at is she didn't start off as a master. She grew into it. And if you follow her story, she didn't know anything about the manufacturing of women's clothing, underclothing. Matter of fact, she didn't even know what a gusset was. I was a step ahead of her because I went to a networking event. I was one of two male attendees in a room of about 100 women, and the keynote speaker talked about pantyhose and gussets and where they. I learned more about where gussets were and what they're all about than I needed to know. Anyway, every master was once a disaster. So I wanted to talk about that as a theme for today, because we all have these things in our head called voices. Saboteurs, matter of fact, is the way I refer to them now. And the good news is that these saboteurs that are there keeping us stuck in our isness can actually be not removed, but can be diffused. When we were younger, they were an important aspect of who we is and who we've become. But as we get older and get out of childhood, the saboteurs don't serve us very well. They're the things they're saying, who are you to do whatever? You're not smart enough. You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not big enough. You're not cute enough, handsome enough, whatever it might be. They're in there. And one of the things that we talk about on the Business Renovator is mental fitness. So today's topic is really focusing in on that, because it's an important aspect to us living into our full potential. It's served me well. I've been on this journey for quite a while and I haven't quite got it all figured out. But what I found is with positive intelligence, PQ, there is a way that you can simplify the process of making the saboteurs less impactful. Like we have 10. Well, we have one main character, our judge. Everybody has a judge. And then we all have 9 supporting casts at various degrees of saboteurs. And there is an assessment I'm going to make available for you. Matter of fact, maybe I'll put it up right now while I'm talking about it. That if you wanted to go do it, it's a complimentary assessment. You can just go right here, positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs. And if this appeals to you and you want to find out who your saboteurs are, and find out who you are and what's blocking you from reaching your potential, take the assessment, have a look at it. But if you don't want to do it alone, why don't you reach out to me after you've done it? You can go to phil@coachphil.ca and send me an email and let me know that you've done the assessment. Happy to have a conversation with you. No credit card required. We'll do a 20, 30-minute debrief and help you understand what the saboteurs mean and how you can diffuse them. It's a fun process of identifying what's going on. I've learned a ton of things. Some are things I already knew, but refined them, polished them, sharpened my axe. So I'm happy to do that and share that with you. I'm going to try something new here today. I haven't done this before. There's this option on my branding suite that allows me to change stuff. I want to see if this works. I'm going to see if I've learned something, or I'm certainly, as you can see, I'm not quite a master. I'm not a disaster. I'm somewhere in between when it comes to managing this particular format. Oh, look at that. I was able to do it. This is the Business Renovator. So what I found out was when I created this new brand, so that I don't have to have a screen behind me. If I'm traveling somewhere, I can just bring this up, put it on the fuzzy, blurry background, and put that on the top. But where I did it is I made it as brand number 3. And in brand number 3, I've got the yellow color to match the Business Renovator. And there's a Business Renovator without anything else other than me on the screen. Well, that's all fine and dandy, as they used to say in the 50s. I brought that up, revitalizing dandy now. And I lost my train of thought. I'm a bit of a disaster today. No, I'm somewhere in between disaster and master in terms of this, like I said before. And we're all there, right? So one of the things I liked about the PQ methodology of getting to a point where we can recognize, diffuse, and manage our saboteurs is using something that I've used. I'm not an improv performer, but I've intentionally attended and participated in improv acting courses, and it's a blast. Certainly gets you out of your comfort zone, lets you be comfortable being uncomfortable, gets you to say yes to life and yes to opportunities. So that's one of the ways that the PQ coaching system that we have can help you, is it helps you say yes and I use this with my clients and myself with a yes and. What I like about that idea is, and I start adding something to it, because 90% of somebody's idea might not be any good, but 10% is. So instead of focusing on the 90% and staying in that disaster limited thinking, why not recognize potentially there's 10% of their idea that's great, and then add to it. And if you do this game, yes, and what I like about that is, and then build on it, you'll be amazed at what comes out of it. Well, at least I was. That's what I wanted to share with you today on the Business Renovator. PositiveIntelligence.com/saboteurs. There's no charge. Go do it. If you want to have a debrief and conversation around it, there's no charge for that initial conversation. Happy to do it. I'll learn from you as well as you will learn from me. I see I've got a couple of people popped in. Oh, it's my buddy, Kellen. Hello, Kellen, the lady from WOW. No, she's not from WOW. She is WOW. The live and number of people watching is covering your name. So, it is too, yeah. I'll have to move that down. The business, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. It's between, I got to be in between that space. My video coach would point that out. So that's good. I know that now. I will fix that on the next go around and be more of a master and less of a disaster. So thank you for pointing that out, Kellen. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Remember to take your PositiveIntelligence.com saboteurs assessment. I could put it on the right. I could put it on the right. I just can't. Well, no, I can't put it down below. I just had that thought, because when you put a banner on it, it disappears. So I will look at putting it to over here on the right. She's so awesome. Actually, she's better than awesome. She's wowsome. Wow-some. Anyway, it's Friday here. It's summer, and it's the last day of Stampede. Well, that's not true. It's the last work day of Stampede. There's 2 more left on the weekend. Progress, not perfection. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Every master was once a disaster. And we learn from what we do. Well, it depends if you let your saboteurs take charge. Because if you let your saboteurs grab you and take you, they'll hold you and keep you where you is. They won't allow you to step out and do anything. Because sometimes the voices win out and we never start. And other times they don't stop us, but they slow us down and keep us from reaching our full potential. It's like simultaneously having 1 foot on the brake and 1 foot on the grass, not the grass, on the gas on your car. And you go around in circles or you go nowhere. So take your foot off the brake, say yes and to life. It's a lot easier. And take this great feedback, Phil. I'm going to revamp this for the next episode and put it on the right-hand side so it doesn't cover up the vital statistics, the time and who's on. So I appreciate that feedback. Thank you, Kellen, as always. Great to have you in my sphere of meaningful friends. With that note, I'm going to see if I can change back. Here's another trick in learning how not to be a disaster. Nope, wrong spot. It's happening. It's happening. Here it comes. I'm going to go back to the old style for now. The Business Renovator will disappear, but I will be here for a couple of minutes. Then I'm going to wrap this up. Remember, the PositiveIntelligence.com/saboteurs. So if you want to learn how to play the yes and game or figure out what your saboteurs are so that you can diffuse them, manage them, and get out of your own way quicker than any other way I've come across. So here's the old brand. The new brand will come back on Monday with a. Speaking of that, on Monday we have a panelist group. We're going to talk about creating and leveraging compelling copy, and where to put your content and how to do it. Some terrific guests are going to be joining me on Monday, so come and hang out with us then. Get rid of this banner. And wrap this show up real quick here. One of the things I would encourage you to do is to go out and be your wonderful you, because the you in wonderful is that way deliberately to recognize your uniqueness and you as someone who is wonderful. So certainly go out and be your wonderful self. Till next time, which is Monday, I'm Coach Phil. Have a terrific weekend, if it's a weekend for you.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm brave.